Okay, mic check. Can y'all see in here? Mr. Blue here. TradePhantoms.com. Why is landscape mode not? The settings for landscape mode disappeared. I don't know why. I'm hoping that y'all can see kind of landscape mode here. Landscape mode here. All right, we gotta dive in. We got work to do. Yeah, I'm Mr. Blue here. I'm your guide, your host, right? TradePhantoms.com. I'm going to give a 1 hour kind of session of what it's like to kind of be in our trade room. All right, so I'll go over the markets. We just had a big. This is the best I can get it for right now. I don't know why landscape mode is not working. I have to update the app, but it was there 2 days ago. All right, I think we're good right here. Okay, cool. Let's dive in. It is what it is. Okay, cool. Yeah, TradePhantoms.com, Mr. Blue. Let's dive in. So we have, we just had, as mentioned, I did a stream a couple days ago. What's today? Today's date is 7/11, Thursday, July 11th, beginning of Q3. And today was a pretty big announcement day or news. We had CPI come out. That's a big one that the Fed, the Fed watches for to control rates, right? And long story short here, it did come in negative than expected. Okay, so inflation's coming down. Okay, that's going to be a good positive thing for the Fed to move rates or cut rates. We don't speculate. There's a website that we hold near and dear to cmegroup.com, the Fed Watch tool. Okay, as mentioned too earlier this week, we're 20 days, or this month is going to be the month where we are going to have a Fed meeting on July 31st. Okay, so this website gives us really good data, factual data, based on Fed fund futures, and this may take a day or two to update, give or take. Okay, but we'll see if anything changes for the most part with that lower inflation that just came in. Okay, as always, as we always teach the phantoms and mentor the phantoms, is news is one thing, yes, but also we have to see how the markets react to it, right? So even though, as you can see, if you're trading right now or see the markets right now, markets are up, but that doesn't mean yesterday was a. We'll talk more about this when I get to the charts. Yesterday was a monster bullish day. It kind of snuck up on. It happened kind of very stealth. It was quiet in the morning, then later afternoon, if everything just exploded to the upside. Okay, so anyways, we'll talk a little bit about that. That was yesterday. This is today. So yeah, as you'll see in a moment when I go to the futures charts, S&P and NASDAQ specifically, you'll see that the market's going to be up here. That being said, let's move forward. Also, just make a note too, I'm starting to prepare the team at Phantoms for some earnings. Okay, as well, we got Netflix, Tesla, among some other ones that are duly noted. Okay, so I'm gonna click this over here. This is Think or Swim. If you're really new to the stream here, welcome. I'm gonna switch this over. I like to trade options and stock on Think or Swim. Let me see. I'm gonna switch this over to just the major 4 futures indexes here. And as always, we have some phantoms in here. Good to see y'all. Top-down approach. This looks very familiar to you folks, right? Just to give you a quick little synopsis of kind of the approach, just really quick before I just dive right into the charts. We are always looking at top-down multiple time frame analysis. Okay, starting with the higher time frames, being monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, so you'll often hear myself and the team at Phantoms talk about higher time frames. Okay, this is a quick little checklist to just help you with your trade plan: last month's high, last month's low, trend, etc. Okay, got a couple candlesticks here, location. Okay, location, and then we train Phantoms on how to be execution based on liquidity. All right, so that's beyond the scope of this free 1 hour stream. But I'll give you a taste of what it's like right here. Starting with the S&P futures on the upper left, I have the NASDAQ futures upper right. I have the Dow Jones lower left, and I have the small caps on the bottom right. Small caps have been Russell 2000 have been pretty quiet, but with this lower inflation, we had a catalyst to maybe pop this one out. So the irony today, this morning, is that the S&P and the NASDAQ have been relatively stronger, versus say the Dow Jones and the Russell. But this morning, the Russell 2000 is up in the strongest, But that's because it's been in a nice, quiet hibernation state, kind of range state for quite some time. So once this thing pops out a little bit here, we get some movement, right? It's crazy to see that the NASDAQ, well, let me just dive into one of these charts a bit bigger here so y'all can see it better. All right. Just real quick, daily time frame on the S&P 500, S&P futures, Just got a rising 20-period moving average here. All right, just for helping some filtration processes, got a 200 bull trend, bull trend, bull trend. All right, uptrend. All right, bull market. Yesterday, yesterday we had a nice close. It was an insane close. Everything just kind of spiked up. So this is a daily time frame. So this was yesterday's candle here. So it's been a quiet early part week, Monday, Tuesday, because quiet yesterday being Wednesday morning for the trading day, and then like I mentioned in the afternoon, it just spiked up. So the bulls continue to take this ball and run with it, right? All right, now just because it doesn't mean it's going to go up forever. There's going to be some corrections here. So as I've been mentioning for quite some time now, not only here on YouTube but also just with the group and the members, it's going to be very hard to short this market. So we're a buyer of pullbacks. We're a buyer of pullbacks. Yesterday we actually bought long, bullish. Almost at the exact right time, breaking VWAP and a bunch of other things that we look at as well. And then the market just took off. So yeah, so we'll see now off the back of this news here. Futures did spike up, but it's calmed down just a little bit here. Basically futures are basically S&Ps here. S&P futures right now are just basically flat right now. So we always have to just be a little bit careful here. Yes, there's good news. But that, remember, we're on all-time highs or new highs. So I train folks to make sure always be trading properly, and the setup and liquidation. I'm sorry, liquidity. So today might be a day where this pop new high here could be some exit liquidity. So if I had more time, I'd speak more about that. I could say the same thing for NASDAQ. All right, this is the NASDAQ futures. Clearly uptrend here. Got the 20-period moving average just as a help, as a guide. All right, the core foundation of what Phantoms does is we operate off institutional level of demand and supply. So there's a very specific image that you're looking for to filter whether or not it's a good level of demand, meaning we want to be bullish, or a supply level. And if any of y'all have followed Mr. Black on TikTok, he does a great job illustrating that almost religiously, right? So that's good. I'm gonna give you a slight little taste, just different, doing the same thing, but I'm actually just gonna go over the futures and options market here. So I'm gonna drill down to or bring this up, the darker screen here. You might be able to see this better. So yeah, Aaron, this is annoying this morning. I have no idea on Tuesday stream, and the past couple of streams, the landscape option was allowing me to do change this screen, but it won't. The button disappeared this morning. So unfortunately, I'm trying my best here to do that. I tried to do it. I was gonna start the stream maybe a couple minutes later and update my app, but it was just there on Tuesday. So it's super weird. I know. I'm like, where's the button? I do this all the time. So unfortunately, I'm just trying to keep it moving. So I know the screen might not be ideal, but if you go back to the prior couple streams, the landscape mode was beautiful. It worked beautiful, but the button wasn't there this morning. I don't know. Maybe it didn't like the CPI data. So it's annoying, but I'm just going to keep the ball rolling here as best as I can. All right. So I'm again, S&P futures. I got monthly here. I got weekly here. I got daily here. All right. So we always qualify on the monthly, the weekly, and the daily. Always, 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 always. Right. And I'm going to go down to the 60-minute time frame here on the upper left. I have the 30-minute time frame lower left. I have the 5-minute time frame here in the middle, and then I have the 2-minute time frame here. So at Phantoms, we talk a lot about a minimum of 3 time frames. We have like a designated high time frame, a designated kind of middle intermediate time frame, if you will, and then a designated small or low time frame. All right, we're gonna get location, trend, okay, condition on the higher time frames and boil that down into the smaller time frames and execute on the smaller time frames when the higher time frames and the small time frames line up and align. Okay. Now that being said, one of the things that what we like to do is a specific futures setup, what's called the Globex trap. Okay, Globex trap. So again, this is the S&P futures. I am on a 1 hour, 60-minute time frame here. Okay, and you can see we're in an uptrend. Okay, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Okay, and the markets just continue to make all-time highs. Right, at some point, yes, this is going to change. All right, but doing the business, doing the process, and treating this like a business, same thing over and over again. Process system, process system. I want to map out what's called the Globex high, which is the overnight high, which got put in right here at 5707.75, give or take. Okay, I'll just round up to 5708. A lot easier to say there. Okay, and that represents the overnight Globex high. That was the highest point. Okay, that so far the markets are not open. Stock market 9:30 a.m. Eastern. All right, but the futures and forex market is open. Right, so this gray space represents what happened overnight. Okay, Eastern Standard Time. Now I'm going to delete these these green lines here. These are TPs from yesterday. So we got long. Okay, we got long yesterday, as I mentioned. Okay, so I'm going to delete this here. So just so it can just get cleaned up a little bit here. But we have some phantoms in here that are already part of the team here, and I'm sure they remember this trade, which it was kind of fresh out of the oven yesterday. Okay. So I'm just going to delete that there so we can just clean this up a little bit here. So this was that demand zone that we were talking about yesterday. All right, we had a nice little positive CRG, which is, taught in, with more time and space. Okay, then we had a nice, beautiful rally to close out the end of yesterday. All right, now that leaves the overnight Globex, okay, close here. Then the overnight low is basically right here in the S&P futures. Okay, so I'm going to put this blue line right there to represent that. Okay, that's the little low right there. That's the Globex low. Now, the setup is this, okay, and again, we have more, when there's more, I'm going to just go give you the skinny on this, okay, right, but just really quickly, but we have, this is explained in a lot more detail when we have, a lot more time and space in those classes there. All right, so this was called a Globex trap. So the setup is I'm going to have the market break below a Globex low, okay, come down, okay, and trap short sellers, okay. Believe it or not, there's people that are still trying to short this market thinking that it's going to go down. Okay, yeah, eventually it's going to at some point, but it's going to, that's been a hard year to do that this time around. Okay, so this is why I'm not even giving any shorts. Okay, to the group in phantoms because there's no supply. There's no supply looking to the left at all-time high. Okay, so that kind of makes our job a bit easier here, just because we're still looking to have a pullback into demand, qualified level demand. And if I look down below the Globex low and down and left, here's current price down and left. Okay, we do have a nice little big rally move from yesterday, right? All right, now it's still going to be fairly decent here. All right, this was like this was kind of a slow grind here. A lot of time was spent here. Okay, then we have a little pop here. All right, so this is a fairly obvious level. So I want to be a bit more careful with the obvious levels. But this is it does qualify because we have a new pop high coming here. Okay, so long story short, okay, if we were to get to this price point here today, this would be what's called a Globex trap setup. And that price comes in at, let me just blow this up a little bit there. Especially with the landscape mode not working randomly this morning. I have no idea why. So creepy. All right, so 56.47 with a nice little demand area, okay, known as what's called the Globex trap. All right, Globex trap, Globex trap, Globex trap. We also have another level right below here as well. Now this level was developed on the overnight session here. All right, and this is also not as prime. Okay, again, when we have more time here, we actually go through what's called a scoring process to let us know whether it's going to be a valid demand zone or not. Okay, so these two they're fairly. This one's decent here. All right, this one's not as great, but if we do have some bigger move down here, okay, it might flush. Okay, it might flush. Okay, and come and flush out down in here. All right, so these are going to be two levels of interest for that, and so I'll just put the price point here, 56.30. Okay, and I'll keep that note there, low quality demand, below that. All right, I'll just put that price there, even numbers there, 30, give or take, close enough, got it. Okay, So we got this little wick here. We got the wick here on the news here. So I'd be patient here. See how this the market digests this news, okay? Because futures are not really holding up that bid post that news. Okay, so be patient. All right. And if you're new here, you'll see that I go over some tickers and things like that for trading the open. Okay, and you'll see that live. All right, if I see a setup, of course. All right, so I'm going to move on here. Be careful. All right, this is the news bar. So, see how this market digests this news here. All right, and we're trading basically below that news bar. So we'll see. All right, I'm going to do NASDAQ, oil, and gold as well. So I'm going to switch over right to the NASDAQ here. NASDAQ futures. NASDAQ futures. Okay, I'm going to go straight to the, again, monthly, weekly, daily, just to give you a reminder, right? Massive bullish uptrend. Great. Okay. I'm going to go to the 60-minute time frame. 60-minute time frame, so 1 hour time frame on the NASDAQ futures. All right, Globex high here, Globex low here, right there. Okay, qualify level of demand below Globex low. All right, trapping some short sellers coming in here into a level of demand in the context of a macro bull uptrend. That's the setup to be. All right, this is decent. We're going to be careful here. This is a test, though. All right, so I'll mark off this price here. Let's see. We got 20,730. I'll just save a couple of seconds here. Copy and paste this line. Bring that up here. All right, 20,730. Again, while I'm just marking these numbers out, I'm not even going to look for supply. There's nothing to the left. Okay, all-time highs. All right, this is decent here. I would put an asterisk on this and just say, this is, we are high, and this is kind of an obvious level. So this could be a bit aggressive. Okay, so I've just put a little asterisk on that, labeling that fairly aggressive. Okay, but not too bad here. 20,730, give or take. Okay, you can see, there's the wick here. So we're just kind of back into the basing of where we were overnight on the NASDAQ. All right, I will say this, though. NASDAQ is a bit more stronger, okay, than the S&P, just formation-wise here. Okay, and it's been stronger overall because tech is still insanely strong at the moment, okay, for the time being going into Q3. All right, I still have a couple levels down here, 20,570, 20,500. Okay, there's another, there's some levels right in here as well too. All right, but, these have been tested, not too prime here. So, if this market does, just have a deeper correction at some point, you might want to be careful, especially with the NASDAQ, okay? It could kind of drop faster and come lower for some more liquidity, for the liquidity sweeping. All right, but for right now, this is not too bad here. I mean, you could pin off the 20,630 as well. That's a daily low in here as well, if you just wanted to kind of make a note about that. All right, with that price right there. All right, what do I call it? So 20,615. All right, that's a level that is noteworthy just for some liquidity, etc. All right, so this is levels of demand below the Globex low, is kind of what I just illustrated here. All right. All right, again, I want to just be a little bit patient here too, especially on free live YouTube. All right, so we'll keep it moving for right now. Oil futures. All right, so I got monthly here, I got weekly here, I got daily here. Oil has been quite rangy for the past couple of years on the monthlies. Okay, we got weeklies here in the middle. We mapped out some good levels here of supply. Okay, good levels of demand. Okay, so we got weekly here. We had weekly supply, came right up. Okay, we were talking a lot about this. Okay, even you go back into the stream, we pull back down into the daily, rising 20-period moving average over here. All right, so we got it's hard to pick exact trend of what oil's doing, because for the past 2 years, give or take, two and a half years, oil's just been rangy from the high range monthly, low range monthly over here on the left. Right, so weeklies as well, naturally going to be rangy. Okay, so how do you trade that? Well, you just wait for the extremes and trade the current momentum. Current momentum right now on oil is up, but we're at weekly supply. Okay, now on the daily time frame right here. All right, remember we mentioned this already. I even gave this out on Tuesday, and it hit yesterday. I don't know if anybody took this, but we had this blue level right here, right, and I mark off my daily levels, just in blue, so I kind of know the time frame sequence. Right, blue. Right here, daily. Right, monthly is orange. That's why you see over here orange on the monthly on the left chart. Okay, I got weekly here, yellow in the middle. Okay. So, anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is this: even if you go, if I'm on the 60-minute time frame now, and I don't know if you remember, but on Tuesday on live stream, I had mentioned this 8110 is 8085, where it's going to be a nice area, okay, to get long, okay, not only for a day trade, but also potentially for a swing trade, because this blue box represents daily demand, okay, and we're further away from weekly supply, okay. And in fact, I even just, this is the Tuesday. Not to, I'm not trying to say, how amazing, but it's, just looking at these demand supply. This was Tuesday's stream, okay, and this was, I just kind of fast forwarded this, okay. This was the level right there, okay. If I would have paused that right there, so that's Tuesday, okay, and we looked at, I mentioned that 8110 and the 8085. Okay, there's you folks in here, right, chatting away. Okay, so and we came right into that. So there's kind of the pre, okay, the pre, because that daily demand zone, 8110, 8085. Okay, that's a qualified level of demand. Okay, right in here. All right, and I discussed that. All right, and then voila. Okay, voila. Markets come down beautifully. There's the pre. Okay, there's me talking about the level there, 8110, 8185. All right, and then there's the post right there. Y'all see that? 8110, 8085. Okay, almost to the tick. Right? Doesn't always happen like that. Doesn't always work like that. All right, but just stick to the process, right? I knew that, we were coming from weekly supply. It needed to kind of gather deeper, lower down into the demand. Why was this demand zone the low right there? Because that is the highest quality level of demand in the proper location of the daily demand. So a 60-minute level of demand inside a daily level of demand, okay? So there you go. There's my TED Talk there for you on YouTube, right? So hopefully y'all maybe took action on this. Okay, now for the record here, as I always, I trade live with my team, with the team in there in Phantoms. For the record, I'm swing long oil. Okay, all right, I'm swing long oil. Okay, and I actually took a stop loss. Okay, on oil on this swing long in the middle here. Okay, and then I had to get back long when it lined back up. Okay, so just had to cut my loser. I'm wrong. Reanalyze, readjust. And then this trade is definitely, because I got the bigger move here, okay, is making more money than the stop loss that I had over here, okay? So we talk a lot about that, okay? When wrong, get out, all right? And reanalyze, okay? Go and wait for your next setup. Just like you missed a train, it's all good, all right? You gotta stay in the station, right? And get the next one, get the next setup. All right, don't revenge trade, don't do anything like that, okay? Control yourself, okay? Anyways, long story short with this is, now that oil, okay, the long story short is this. Now that oil came from weekly supply and kind of hit daily demand here, we're in the middle here. So you want to be extremely careful trading in the middle of range, okay? In the middle of range. Now, if I look at yesterday's close, we have a nice, what's called positive COG with a nice hammer, okay, right here as well. So the edge is still slightly bullish based on yesterday's close. So you could try to work on, if you're not long or holding these swing longs down here, okay, you could still try to work on being a bit more bullish as we're entering into levels of demand. All right, and that would be another level right here. If you want to pin this, if I take that circle off, because that's kind of dramatic there, 8136. You might want to pin 8136 for a potential pullback down into demand. Okay, to maybe pick off some longs here. Okay. And that's pretty much the only one that I see, other than the lines that we already have drawn here, 8110 and 8085. Okay, it might want to come down and retest this. I'm not sure, but I would almost not want to see that happen, because I would want to see this daily bar that is a hammer positive COG close have some continuation and bringing it back up into weekly supply. Well, that's what the bulls would want to see. Okay. All right. So yeah. So far, oil's kind of mid-range right now, so you can try to work on this to the bullish side. All right, there is a slight little positive COG being closed right now, potentially, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check my facts here. Not the greatest, okay, but it seems like it might want to try to rotate here above VWAP here and the rising 20 people moving average in 50. So, but this is a small intermediate time frame, so just be careful with that. All right, so you could lean. You have something to lean against here with some demand in oil. Okay, you have something there to lean against. All right, what is this? A 30-minute time frame here? All right, intermediate. All right, you have something to lean against here, if you will, to see if oil can hold some bids and continue from yesterday's positive COG close. Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm gonna do gold here as well, and then we'll move over to some tickers. Gold futures popped. Okay. All right, we were talking a lot about this. I know the lines are kind of crazy here. monthly, weekly, daily. It looks like it's trying to break its mother bar here. Okay, so last week's close was nice. I mentioned that. There's a bit of a voting of a confidence on the weekly bar closing for the bulls to take over. And officially now we are inside bar, inside bar, inside bar. This is not closed yet, but we're breaking the mother bar. Okay, so macro picture is still bullish on gold. Gold futures is breaking out. Okay, so we still want to be cautious on this. Okay, we had a couple levels here: demand, supply, demand, supply. All right, we do have another supply level up here, 24.15. Okay, so don't chase and buy highs. Okay, wait for a pullback down in here. All right, wait for a pullback. We have Globex high, which was put in up here. Globex low here. Oops. I'm not sure if this is going to hit today below Globex low, but we do have a level of demand below Globex low. Two of them, by the way. You know, right here, 23.65. I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen today. Never say never, though. Anything can happen at any time, right? Trading the zone, Mark Douglas. Anything can happen anytime. It's like rule number one. All right, but this is a level of demand. I'm not sure it's going to hit today, though. So we go Globex trap long. All right, just sticking to the kind of process and system here. So that comes in. I'm just going to round up to 23.60, 23.66. Okay. Now we could wait for a pullback in here. All right, we could see if we could wait for a pullback in here and take a positive COG in here. All right, so we can lean against this quote-unquote news bar here. All right, we can lean against that, but just be careful now because I'd be telling the Phantoms if you're already long TP, take profit of some because we don't want to be buying new highs. Okay, so wait for the pullback. Okay, and the team of Phantoms, you know, they know what to look for because they're trained for what's called a positive COG in the proper location down in here. Okay, and I'd use VWAP. This white dashed line right here is VWAP, volume weighted average price. That is going to provide a guide as well. Now, 2400 was a supply zone. All right, at some point that worked out. Okay, not too long ago. Okay, and then we just broke that. So we could also have what's called a flip. Okay, what was one supply is now demand on the other side. Okay, so this is supply, broke, closed above it now, 2400. So again, that just provides more validity for this level right in here as we have demand potentially could be forming, okay, or some buyers picking back up on the other side of supply after it broke. Okay. All right, and this is going to be confluenced with VWAP as well. All right, so yeah, you might want to wait for a pullback, okay, and wait for a nice VWAP test, well, 2400 here, all right, to maybe engage or execute, all right. And again, my Phantoms in here that I've trained already, you know, look for that positive COG on the 5 and the 2 minute time frame or whatever smaller time frame that you're using, maybe the 15 or what have you, 10, whatever, all right, and go at it. Go at it, all right? Stop loss below and see what you can rip tape, okay? Now, I'm going to transition a little bit here. If you're new, I know I'm talking really fast. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, I'm going to just take a sip of water here. All right, go to TradePhantoms.com. Okay, what's today? Thursday? Yeah, so if you hit the register button there, if this is something you might be interested in, that's okay. If not, as well. This evening, if I'm not mistaken, because today is the 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern, okay, 9 hours away. You can put your email there, name, so you can get a link to today evening class. All right, it'll teach you, you know, let you know a little bit more about, you know, what Phantoms is all about and how markets work from a professional standpoint. We're all we're still professional traders, Mr. Black, Mr. Green. Okay, they always teach that nighttime class there. Okay, Eastern Standard Time, small account, big account, doesn't matter. Multi-directional trading, up, down, sideways, in all assets, not just stocks, not just Forex, not just futures, everything. Okay, even crypto, all right, stocks, futures, Forex, options, okay, all the way from smaller accounts, just trading for, you know, side income, okay, all the way to long-term wealth management. Okay. Okay, cool. Moving on here. Now, one of the things I want to check is the VIX. So I'm going to move over to from futures. I'll go over a bit to we got 15 minutes before the market opens, 9:15 Eastern right now. Okay, so I'm gonna go over a couple tickers here. All right, so we got VIX, VIX. VIX is the volatility index. All right, there's more to this. Ashes in the house, Donovan. We got some phantoms in here. We got some good phantoms in here. I see y'all. I see you. I see you. VIX. Can't explain this right now, but just think of it like this: inverse correlation. VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. All right. So we like to map out the, of course, overnight high. We track it on a macro, longer time frame picture. We also map it out on the smaller time frame micro picture. Okay, so overnight high, overnight low. Look at this. VIX is kind of wild today with the CPI data. Okay, so yesterday, the VIX, it was kind of odd too, because yesterday the VIX, this was yesterday's price action in VIX. Yesterday the VIX was rising as the markets were rising. So it looks like some people were just trying to maybe buy some insurance just in case we had a bad CPI print. Okay, but then the VIX just collapsed here. Okay, so that's this morning. Okay, so if the VIX continues to drop lower, that's going to be more bullish for the market. If the VIX continues higher, if the VIX goes higher, that's going to be a bit more bearish. Okay, sometimes, very rarely, there's anomalies. Yesterday being one. All right, but that was looks like because the VIX was rising as the market was rising. Okay, nothing too crazy. All right, it was only up about what 1-2%. Okay, outliers is more like 7 to 10%. But the point that I'm trying to make is, that was just yesterday. It seems like people were just, maybe picking up a little bit of some put insurance on maybe some S&Ps and NASDAQ in the event that we had a bad print and markets took a dump. Okay, but that did not happen. Okay, and VIX is kind of back down, normalized here. All right, I'll leave it there. There's more to it. All right, 30-day implied volatility of SPX options, but that's beyond the scope. We got markets opening in about 13 minutes, so I want to make sure we're a bit prepared for that. That being said, all right, we got SPYs, massive move yesterday. Okay, it was kind of a creeper. Okay, but massive move yesterday. So these markets are up. Okay, I'm expecting some kind of pullback at some point. Okay, so far they're up for the year. 18%. Okay, so some of the best years in S&P are like 20-something percent. So we're already kind of getting up there. So just be careful. Okay, this might not be the best time to load up some stocks into your portfolio at all-time highs. Okay, all right, wait for a pullback. Okay, wait for a pullback. Okay, and we're gonna be prepared for that for the in the trade rooms that we have. Okay, all right. So that's not a discussion for today, of course. All right, right now today, slight gap up on SPYs. Nothing too crazy there. QQQs, same thing, bull market. All right, yesterday's high, yesterday's low. QQQ, slight gap up. Nothing too crazy. All right, pre-market quote 503, close here. That little orange line, I know it might be tough to see, especially with the landscape mode not working today. But slight gap up. All right, want to just be a little careful here. Move up, move up, move up, gap up. All right, get a little novice-like. People buying too high. So I'm not looking to buy the S&Ps 20% up. All right, I'll catch it on the pullback down, 3, 4, 5% pullback down into qualified level of demand. Okay, but for the day trading style, it could be another up day today, so I have to day trade long. Okay, but loading up the portfolio with stocks right now might not be ideal. All right, I'm not locking in the S&P up 20 sub percent. Okay, but anyways, I don't want to be too crazy here. Let's just get what's going on here today. All right, slight gap up, just to be a little careful, all right, because we can, pull back imminent, all right, after big move up, okay, we can have a day where it can, quote unquote digests, okay, but right now, yeah, bulls are out, we'll see if that continues. All right, IWM, small caps, it did break, all right, we're gonna have a big gap up here, but just remember, be careful with IWM because it's, it's a very rangy kind of product, okay, so it's hard to trust it, all right, and this is gapping up into supply, so be careful if you're trading small caps. All right, and I love to trade small caps sometimes, but lately it's been a nightmare. All right, so I'll just humbly pass on that. Gold, we just talked a bit about gold. Gold is actually breaking out. All right, gold's breaking out. We actually have a nice outside gap on gold here. So yeah, GLD might be okay this morning too as well. I just want to be a bit careful just in case because futures as well, they wanted to kind of see if it wanted to pull back just a little bit there. But GLD is the ETF of gold. TLT, a lot of money flow is coming into TLT. I don't want to talk about the bond rate correlation here. Not the time right now. All right, but TLT is coming up. Bond price up, yield down. Okay. Yield down equals market up. Okay. Yield down, market up. So bonds, and there's a lot of money coming into the TLT. I think they had one of their biggest days since this ETF was born, inception date. So IPO'd. So this is the 20-year Treasury bond TLT, one of the most liquid stock option Treasury product that you can trade if you don't trade the actual Treasury or futures on Treasuries, which is bonds. Okay. This might be a long-term macro play, folks. Okay, we've been talking a lot about this with Phantoms as well. I actually have to plan a nice little macro trade with the team. All right, before Feds cut rates. All right, that's a discussion for another day. Apple ticker all-time highs yesterday. Insane day on Apple as well. Actually, Apple was one of the ones that was dragging the market up yesterday, and the NASDAQ as well. Yesterday's high, yesterday's low here. All right, we got to get a little careful with Apple. Now, there's no supply to the left. That's always going to be a challenge because we have no objective level of supply to the left where institutions proved to sell off. Okay, so that's going to be always challenging to short a market at all-time highs, right? Some people thought that this was going to be the high. Some people thought that this was going to be the high. Then, it can't go any higher, can't go any higher. Boom, markets explode up to another new high there. Okay, that's why I'm telling the team at Phantoms, we still got to go long as the bulls are still out to play. Okay. But that being said, we do have a slight gap down in Apple. Now, just because we have a slight gap down in Apple does not mean that's going to go down today either, right? So this is an inside gap, all right? And we want to see how this pans out on these smaller time frames when the market's open. Amazon, I'm just on a daily time frame, just going over the gaps real quick here with y'all. Amazon has been kind of a sleeper. It made all-time highs this week on Monday, of course, okay? Along with most of the other big FANG stocks here, so that's no surprise. The point that I'm trying to make right now is that Amazon's been a little bit of a sleeper this week. It did not participate in the big rally that it had yesterday. All right, but I do talk a little bit about how these FANG stocks could be jealous sometimes, right? So while Apple pumped an all-time new high, Qs and SPY, SPX, okay, Amazon might be a little jealous here. Slight gap up. It's an inside gap, and this bar is inside of this bar here. There was a little liquidity fish yesterday that I speak about with more time with the team, okay? And we do have a hammer bar close here, okay? So this, and it's a basing here, all right? So I wouldn't be surprised if Amazon, gets a little jealous and says, okay, y'all making new highs, I want to make another new all-time high too, okay? Now, that is a fallacy right now, all right? I just can't build that bias because what if it just stays inside of this range for the next day or two and close up the week inside of this range, okay? But I do like this hammer bar. I do like the liquidity sweep yesterday below yesterday's low, okay? Or below this mother bar low right here. That is a bar that is executionable, okay? But we'll see if we can kind of hold above yesterday's high, at least at a minimum, and see if we can try to get some intraday tape to maybe push that, okay? If I don't see the setup intraday meaning when the market's open and on the small time frames, I do nothing, okay? So if I see it, I pull the trigger. If I don't see it, I do nothing. All right, Google, interesting as well. Google it was a creeper yesterday, meaning like it was creeping, and then, late afternoon, all right, it spiked, made an all-time new high here. All right, I do decently like this close. We did close above this red bar high. I'd like it to be a bit more stronger for what's called a positive COG, but nonetheless, we do have something to lean against in terms of candle close for this. Again, we got 6 minutes to open, so I speak more about that in detail with proper time and space, right? Candlestick analysis, etc. All right, long story short here, slight gap down. All right, does not mean it's inside gap, right? There's a pre-market quote right there, close there. We're gonna be pre-market right here. So this could be another one where we just poked an all-time high here today. If markets do hold bids today, Google will be on the bullish list. Okay. Tesla was so annoying yesterday. I've been getting long Tesla. I actually got long yesterday. It ended up being slightly profitable towards the end of the day. I just ended up holding my contracts, so I didn't just cut out of the loss on this. So I still have some long calls on Tesla here. So we'll see. I am expecting some kind of liquidity sweep here at the 170-ish, and I got a weekly level up here too. Because we'd be popping a new yearly high, all right, and then maybe trapping some people who are trying to buy Tesla on this move up here. Okay, so I'm not too in the liking of where I am located up here. Okay, so I have to monitor these calls that I have here fairly aggressively, just because we're high up here in supply. Okay, but if we do get a pump higher here, okay, I have to liquidate those calls that I have. All right, and I'm gonna start to maybe do some what's called front side climactic entry short long puts. Okay, but that's not happening today. I want to see if we can get a liquidity sweep above 170 to the one. I'm sorry, 270. 270. I'm $100. I'm 100 points off here. 270 slash 275. All right, so that's kind of like something that I'm looking at. All right, we could talk about this tomorrow too as well, Phantoms, in the trade room tomorrow morning. All right, but be patient, wait. For now, Meta was annoying yesterday. For me, just personally, I took a small loss on Meta yesterday. Yeah, so Meta was a little annoying yesterday. So I took a small loss. It's an inside day. Be careful with Meta again today. Big move up. We actually caught this move here, beautiful. But then it's been inside day, inside day, inside day. So yesterday was like choppy. It was up, it was down, it was up, it was down, it was up, it was down. I got chopped out. All right. But again, just be careful with Meta again today. Inside bar, slight gap down. So I'm just gonna move on, save some time there. Be careful. Be very careful with Meta in those inside bars. All right, Microsoft, almost the same thing. I actually did work out Microsoft yesterday as well. It worked out pretty well. Okay. I actually think I held maybe like 1 or 2 contracts on Microsoft, right, long. All right, but inside day, slight gap down. So we need the price action tape intraday to kind of support the continuation move if we get that. All right, but the gap is not telling us much here this morning, unfortunately. Just a slight gap down, inside gap. NVIDIA, how many of y'all are long NVIDIA? We mentioned this on Tuesday. All right, I've been getting long NVIDIA this week. It's been a slow grind. We even got long again yesterday. Okay, so, and I'm keeping those contracts too. So I'm kind of long NVIDIA from Tuesday, yesterday being Wednesday. And good news is this, we have a slight gap up. So these calls are going to be going good. We talked about this. You can even hold this for a swing trade. So we've been swing trading this, meaning holding for a couple of days, couple of weeks, if not, right? At least for this week, minimum here, okay, from this positive CRG here, okay? And day trading it as well, all right? Meaning in and out in the day and maybe leaving some contracts on to hold it for the swing. So hopefully those are doing good. All right, for y'all, if you guys are holding on to those, okay, this is the all-time high here. All right, and I'm not looking at short here, but if we're long, as we get high, right, buy lower, sell higher, right? Just keep it like super first grade simple, right? All right, so if you're long for this little swing move here, all right, just make sure you're TPing, execute, okay? Always be closing, ABC. All right, ABC, always be closing. All right, and yeah, that will be a nice little trade here. So we'll see if we can get some continuation. Today, slight gap out, up, okay? Now just be careful, okay, because AMD semiconductors, they've been having these gap ups, okay? But then they pushed down a little bit here this week, okay? It's been a little rocky, kind of wicky here, okay? So don't right out of the gate. If you're already long it already, cool, awesome. This gap up is going to be good, okay? But don't, I would say just be patient, always be patient. Don't just say, oh, it's going to gap up. Let me just add more, because we could pull back down a little bit here as we did yesterday, okay? AMD, we caught AMD yesterday. It was good, almost to a T. AMD was beautiful. The team was locked in on this yesterday. So proud of them. All right, we had a gap up. This is AMD. He had a gap up yesterday. We caught basically this whole move up. We had this weekly level of supply right there, 187. Basically nailed that, liquidated, almost perfectly. Some people caught AMD almost. There's no such thing as perfect, but we almost caught this perfectly. All right, and I actually got in a little bit late with the team, but some folks were already on this and got a better entry than me, which was awesome. All right, good to see. All right, now, just because that's the case, we still might be able to get some continuation here. All right, but no, as you can see, there was no gap. All right, we just got the market open. Just check quickly, internals, just really quickly, always be patient. All right, advanced declines. A lot of stocks opening up at extreme, 18,077. All right, extreme is plus or minus 18 to 2,000. So a lot of stocks are gapping up off this, off today. The vol-D ratio is extreme. First print up 5 to, well, you want to be a little patient on the first print, okay? But right now it's above 3 to 1 ratio, which is extreme. All right, and VIX is still kind of just calmed down 2% right now. All right, as always, be patient. Let me just check SPYs real quick. All right, ended up being no gap at all, really. All right, this is still loading here. Come on, Thinkorswim. All right, so we got the 30-minute, the 60-minute over here, 5-minute and 2-minute over here. All right, so far AMD is giving us a nice little wide range bar off open. All right, let me see. Slight gap down in Apple. All right, AMD is looking pretty decent here for a. I'd like to see this close here. It just closed the first 2 minutes. Here, this is yesterday. Let me see. So we could work off AMD here. This wide range bar off open here. Long call. So far, things are kind of fading down just a little bit here. All right, NVIDIA slight gap up, pull back a little bit. I mentioned that. Be careful with that. All right. If you want to work off this AMD bar here, we could. Just remember where we did touch that weekly supply to the left there. All right, today. So you know, we can always still be a little bit patient on this. But if I were to pull up AMD, let me see, what would be the risk on this? That's most important here. This was yesterday's action here. Let me see if I just did the 12th expiration here. Just want to see what this looks like. If you wanted to get a little bit lower risk, it's going to be further out delta here. But if you wanted to pick up the 190 strike, those are going for about $1.40. That would be low risk because I just want to be a little cautious up here. Okay. All right. So if you look at this bottom one right here, the 190 strike call. All right. You could pick up the 187 half strike for 250, give or take. All right. But I just want to be a little bit more safer with you folks in here. So if you pick up the 190, you know, that'll be about 170, give or take, on the on that price with this wide range bar off open here. All right, so I'll pull the trigger on it because this is the only one that really sticks out. Meta seems okay too. But yeah, if I pick up the 190 strike call here at the bottom, all right, this wouldn't be too bad here. All right, July 12th expiration. Those are already printing pretty well, so I'm spending too much time. All right. So I got filled at 201 on the 190 strike call, long AMD call. And if you pulled the trigger quicker than I, you might even got a better price. All right, AMD. Long call. Tesla. Giving us the wide range bar off open there. And Tesla's in momentum still. So let me just double check here, make sure we're still good to go. That bar's about to close in the 5-minute here. I'd still like to see it hold above the 60 and 30 as well, but that's not going to happen until any minute. So we get the first wide range bar close on the 5 here. Let me see. So let me see, Tesla. July 12th expiration. If you pick up the 270, those are going for about $3.40 there, that bottom one there. All right, we do have this bar to lean against right here. Now it is fairly high. And that supply, so we want to be a bit careful on this. All right, ideally I'd like this bar to already be taking out this. yesterday's high. So it's not ideal. But let's see. That's the one that we have to work with, at least for right now. So if you pick up the 270, the 270 strike call, it's going for about, what, $3.35, give or take. We can lean against this wide range bar here. All right, so I'll pick up these 270 strike call, that bottom there. Tesla, long call. Want to be a little bit more aggressive managing these ones up here with this high supply here. All right, so long call Tesla here. I just got filled at 345, basically with the price of the call rate is right now, 270 strike call. I don't want to delete these. These are the ones that I'm in already as well, so I got to be fair with my team at Phantoms to update them, folks. Okay, some of them are already here. All right, so I just got filled at 345, long call Tesla. Give or take right there. PayPal. Oh man. PayPal is just, for me, it's just been range for like 3 years, 2 years. So you know, it does have a little bit of a little pro gap up here, but this is definitely something that I don't like to trade as much. It's just range. All right. Just me personally there. I want to be a little cautious here. So the bulls are not raging right now. That's for sure. GLD, I wanted to be careful. Even though I had a nice little pro gap up, it's kind of fading a little bit there. So unfortunately, it's not a lot of setups right here, right off the gate, off the morning. It's Google ended up being a nice close at the end of the day. Had a couple runners on. Right out the gate. Right out of the gate here this morning. Nothing too crazy here. All right, you gotta be careful with that AMD weekly supply touch up here. All right, still good. Nice little pullback. All right, don't get scared out of this. We still got the wide range bar. All right, to lean against there. You know, Meta is trying to, I don't know, Meta's trying to give us something here. It's a bit more, it's a harder one to trust just because of the inside day nature that it's been doing for the past 2 days. All right, and as mentioned yesterday, I got stopped out of a Meta trade, but just because we got stopped out yesterday doesn't mean that we're gonna get, you know, it just didn't, I got stopped out right here. All right. Some team members traded even better than me, which was awesome. Phantoms, but I want to be patient. It would have to prove to me something really good for it to for me to pull the trigger. Yeah, folks, right out the gate, I don't really see much. Now with the team, when I have all day to trade with them in the trade room, we'll continue to look for setups. Right, go to SPX to sell some credit, always religiously. We'd build the what's called call put premium matrix there to help us as well with some edge. But right out the gate, not much here, unfortunately. TGT. Let me see. TGT target. It came in a monthly demand, monthly, weekly, daily. Monthly. So we're out coming off monthly demand to the left here. All right. Weekly's trying here. So actually, this has been inside week for quite some time. This is the mother bar high here on the weekly, the mother bar low. Right there. All right, so it's actually this has been inside bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. So you can see the daily. It's trying to rotate a little bit here on the daily. It did have a nice little decent Hammer closed there with a nice little gap up. We are trading above yesterday's high. The location on monthlies are fairly good. I want to be a little cautious just with this. If you're already in this, this would be great because we had a nice little positive COG, but we are coming up just intraday. Small time frame here, 60. Make sure we TPing here, at least minimum, right? As inside week, but this one had a bit of a little fall through here. Let me see, you got a hammer, 2-minute bar opening here, above VWAP, not too bad. Not too bad, target. Probably fairly cheap. Maybe we pick up the 148 call, give or take, going for about $1.23, not too bad there. All right. Somebody mentioned crowd. Right, CRWD, I think somebody mentioned. Monthly, weekly, daily, good. Up, up. Daily demand is lower down here, weekly down here. It's been range for a little bit up here on the dailies, you can see. I do like how they liquidity sweeped a little bit right here. You see that little wick right here? And it's lower, it's closer to the lower range than the upper range. So this would be upper range for just a little range that we've been in for a couple of weeks now, right? And this would be the lower range. Okay. So location-wise, we're daily low range, kind of weekly liquidity sweep a little bit there. All right, maybe some people got trapped thinking that yesterday was going to be down, 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 and fill this gap. All right, so let me see on the smaller time frames here. This is not too bad. We rotated positive COG here. This might have some legs here. Wide range bar off open. We have something to lean against intraday here. All right. So long as it stays above VWAP, not too bad. Let me see. All right. Wow, this market's all over. It's weird today, folks. It's weird today. Adobe. Let me see Adobe. Monthly, weekly, daily looks good. Massive positive COG close on the monthly here last month. Massive. Weekly, it's trying to absorb that monthly power of this month. Positive COG close last month right here is trying to push this up and absorb this weekly supply in here. All right, so we got weekly supply right there, monthly high here, but dailies are looking good. We pulled back a bit here, so we're trying to absorb. Now, yesterday was a nice little hammer close here. We have a nice little positive COG territory here for daily, so momentum. Okay, this monthly positive COG is driving, the momentum, so it's absorbing the supply here. So yeah, Adobe not too bad too. All right, Adobe's way better than a couple other the FANG stocks here. Good job, folks. I think these are some phantoms in here that are looking at some really good tickers here. So Adobe's good to go here today. All right, it's giving us a nice little setup here. All right, expensive stock, 570. So make sure you maybe do some options on this. All right, so this is one that I'll be working on the bullish side, long desk, as we speak about on the with the Phantoms group. All right, that white line VWAP. So yeah, work on pullbacks into demand, positive COG, quadrant number 2 entry, quadrant number 3 entry, quadrant number 2 exit. All right, monthly, weekly, daily look good. We're at weekly supply on it, but we're trying to absorb it. And the daily hammer closed yesterday on the dailies time frame with a nice little positive COG. Is giving us a potential setup. All right. It's not closed yet though, so we want to see this remain above VWAP and things like that. So I'd work on this. All right, folks. Unfortunately, this is timed, so I hit my limit. I especially want to be careful and cautious with the group. Free on YouTube and things like that, right? A lot of my phantom traders in here are trained and things like that. They know how to operate. But today, folks, just be careful. Kind of wacky here. All right, not a lot of confluence or consistencies across the board with FANG and things like that. All right, so make sure you do what you need to do. All right, SPY's just had a nice little positive COG. All right, we got Tesla. You might want to TP some Tesla. All right, and then AMD. Those are the only two that I pulled the trigger on so far. Just live stream right now with y'all. All right, if AMD kind of breaks below its opening day's bar, which it kind of already did, but you know, stop loss on this. If it gets below this demand level right here, all right, I'm just gonna get out. I'm just gonna have to get out of that. All right, so call it about 182.25, 182.25. All right. That's why I went lower delta, lower risk on this, because we're high up at that supply. All right, Tesla just made a new high here, so that is one that you could potentially, take profit on. All right, bought these for 345. All right, they're going for 405. So I'm gonna TP some on that. I still have some carryover from yesterday as well. That's all these orders here. All right, so I'm just gonna TP a little Tesla here, and then I gave you the area where if AMD gets to that point, you might just want to elect to just cut your loss. NVIDIA kind of calmed down a little bit there today. All right, just taking some profit on some Tesla. All right, AMD's in a drawdown right now. All good. And the chat in YouTube, doing it like the way here is a little annoying. So I try my best to look at the chat, but here's the thing: in the live trade room, okay, the chat is front and center, right in front of my face. On YouTube stream here free, it's a little bit odd. I can't see as great as what I usually have in the live trade room. All right, so I just want to put that note there as well. All right, so if I missed a couple of tickers or questions, it's kind of like the way the technology is like set up right now, at least on YouTube. All right. But just know in the trade room, it's front and center. All right. I need y'all just as much as y'all need me. All right. A lot of times, the group says, "Hey, TP, take profit." All right. Catch highs and lows. Not trying to, but just executing. All right. So just be careful with AMD. I cautioned that because of that weekly supply, and I did very low delta. Okay. In the event that we didn't have no follow through on that weekly. All right. But if you're trading for the rest of the day, folks, just be careful. Okay. Somebody mentioned Oracle. This is good too. Nice alignment. Hammer. Inside bar. From this big drop here. This mother bar one day. All right. Yeah, Oracle might be another one that might be a bit better than even Google, Amazon, etc. Nice wide range bar here. So Oracle is another one that you can lean against. Okay. Actually, Oracle just had a nice little positive COG close on the 2. So Oracle is actually executing right now for you. All right. But I got the time limit here. I'm already over it. All right, Oracle's fairly cheap too. You can get something for about $1, 143 at the monies. Not too bad there. Oracle. All right, you do have a positive COG close right now that just happened. All right, and I know my phantoms know what to do there. All right, so if this is, I know it's fast and furious, but we have classes to get trained up, things like that. All right, that's no surprise. All right, that's normal. So if this is kind of something that you are interested in or not, that's fine as well. If you go to TradePhantoms.com, there's going to be a register button. All right, tonight, Thursday the 11th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 hours away. There's going to be a class, about 90-minute class. Put your name, your email there. You get sent a link for that said class, okay? And it's going to be hosted by Mr. Black or Mr. Green. Usually they do it together. One is, in the chat, just helping with some questions, okay? Because there's a lot of more of y'all than us, right? And then, how markets work from professional traders, all right? How we analyze professionally, multi-direction, up, down, sideways, all right? Stocks, futures, forex, options, all asset classes, all right? Yes, you can even make money if the markets go sideways by selling options, okay? That's one of my favorite things to do, okay? That is taught and traded. You see it live in action as well. All right, and no matter where you are in your trading journey, you could just be starting off with a couple $100, trading for side income on the side, okay, all the way to maybe you're getting up there in terms of maybe you want to do this more for a retirement type deal, and you also love some long-term wealth management, 7, 8+ figures, etc. Doesn't matter, no discrimination here. Doesn't matter, nobody. We're all one team, all one goal, and that's to develop into great traders, okay, and make good edge-based systematical rule-based entries and exit based off a very simple supply-demand approach with understanding to be on the right side of the markets where the big banks, institutions are putting their money. Okay, I want to put my money. All right, and so there's a whole process on that. All right, folks. Right now, that's my time. As mentioned, be careful trading today. Right now, there's not a lot of confluence right now. Okay, but it's a long trading day. All right, yesterday morning was kind of slow and grindy. Okay, then it really opened up later in the day. Okay, so you just had CPI. All right, so traders are digesting this data right now, and just trade the tape. Trade the tape. No thoughts, no feelings. Cool. No thoughts, no feelings. Execute, execute, execute over emotion. All right, folks. I'll see some of y'all later this evening. All right. Again, I apologize for the landscape. I don't know why it's not working. I'll update the app. It was just working on Tuesday. But yeah, this visual might not be the greatest, but I was out of my control here today. I wanted to make sure we started on time and we got some work done here today. Cool. All right, folks. God bless. Trade safe for the rest of the day. For my phantoms, miss y'all. I'll see y'all soon. God bless. Blue out.